sustainability has become the high priority for corporates as well as for business. And this has become the main theme for strategies for corporate as well as for policymakers. We think that the way we are doing combine our strategy for ESG development as well as the business development that can lead to a sustainable social system for the India, and that will result in the vision of our Prime Minister that Atmanirbhar Bharat. I wish everyone involved in this journey very fast pacing and economic growth and the very best in the effort. This will build the India want to create a truly Atmanirbhar Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Please give them a huge round of applause. Thank you. So, we at CSR Box are always studying and researching about CSR education and its impact. One of the key highlights of India's CSR Summit has been that India's 301 listed companies, including 23 PSUs for the financial year 21-22. India's CSR Outlook Report is the flagship research publication of CSR Box and NGO Box, with over 1 million hits on the report pages per year. This has become a much sought after report by the CSR family. The report uncovers the crucial curves and reveals few deep insights for the CSR trends. I would request Mr. Mohammed Shah, founder and CEO of CSR Box, to come on the stage for the launch of this report. Good morning. With this, we are typically not report. He works with leadership teams at state industry departments and few policymakers in Parliament India to create an enabling environment for corporate government partnerships. He is an MBA in environment management and has worked at Z Media, in Outlook, WWF India, and partners in change for setting up CSR Box and NGO Box. He closely works with the Office of Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India, to hasten the pace of technological adoption in social platforms. Over to you.
Because after 38 months of India CSR Summit 2019, we all are meeting you. Before I begin the official welcome of dignitaries, I will take a couple of minutes to go back, flashback and just count a couple of memories from our past events. So when we started in 2014 this India CSR Summit, the idea was just to host an event as a networking event, and Dr. Chatterjee is sitting here, who is really man behind the entire CSR ecosystem. Thanks a lot, sir. When we started in 2014, it was merely an event for us that to bring together 50-60 CSR heads and a couple of non-profit partners. So it was over 290 delegates in Delhi. But gradually the systemic support that we received from the entire CSR fraternity, be it corporate foundation, be it companies, be it the leadership of the companies, government ecosystem, non-profit ecosystem, social innovations through TSS office, different incubators. The platform itself has now become the largest social impact platform or event in South Asia, in fact Asia. We don't have any other event which is parallel to this event right now. All the trust that we have given and embarked on us for the last 9 years. I will cite two small cases that why this event is very important for all of us. This is not our event, this is entire sector's event. When I sent an email invite to one of the CSR heads for this 2022 event, he instantly sent me a WhatsApp screenshot saying that these are the 8 lanyards which I have from your I8 previous summit. And why I credit something very specific to this event is that 6 of my largest non-profit partners with whom I am working on different type of programs have come from your summit. I met them in your summit, I started conversation with them, and they are now my largest implementation partner. Similarly, I met someone, I was not personally acquainted with the personality yesterday in the pre-event dinner. The program on which I am working, and Karate is here, I found out. leverage corporate support for grassroots implementation in their constituency. Secondly, how they can influence companies in a positive way to direct money where the real need is. What is happening that many times an influencer, when they write a letter, companies might be forced to implement something. But our sensitization efforts are towards that how do we leverage the entire work in the right direction, need-based support system. And that's where we have been working on those 45 parliamentarians since last 2 years to work in their geographies, but in a way where there is a requirement for the social sector projects, there is a requirement for the need-based projects. I will take a pause and I walk into the India CSR Outlook report for which I was invited. This is the 8th such event which we have been hosting, the report which we have been releasing. We have been releasing this annual report since 2015 when the first CSR data were out by the Minister of Corporate Affairs. While Ministry will upload the data on their website by end of this month or next month, we are releasing this entire data set for the public listed companies. Close to 25,000 to 26,000 crore every year, out of which 12,200 crore comes from the 301 companies. That's why our focus in the first report always remains with 300 companies, because these are the ones who are driving the sector in terms of setting some benchmarks, who are taking the lead in terms of where to invest fund. They are the ones who are working very closely with a couple of government agencies to create a few government, corporate and non-profit collaborative programs. So that's why the 301 companies matters a lot for us in terms of their CSR project, actual CSR implementation and the modalities which they have adopted in the CSR project. The actual CSR files, and then there is a new additionality in the compliance that we have to do because of the amendments. So it's still 29% of these companies, which are the 300 largest companies technically in India, they have not been able to meet the compliance requirement. 29%, which is a shocker for us, because we, in 2020 it was 18%, 20%. It may be because of COVID, companies were not able to implement projects on ground. Many were restricted to do works virtually. Then their promoters might have committed some corpus for the PM CARES for multi-year funding or other projects and programs. Because of multiple reasons, we have seen that companies were not able to comply, 29%. Almost 2.8% or close to 3% funding is going towards Northeast region, which we believe should increase, and Kalita sir is here. We are really working with you to really increase funding in Northeast region, but currently it stands at 2.5% to 3% specifically. When you talk about aspirational district, the funding which should have definitely increased because of large PSUs investing in aspirational district, it still accounts for 4 to 5%, exactly 4 to 8% or 4.8% or something for the CSR projects in aspirational district. And where we stand as of today, the pie has increased, pie has expanded slightly. These are the top 10 companies. These are the top 10 companies as per the actual CSR and prescribed CSR. This is important for all of us, and again, when you look at CSR distribution across India, Maharashtra stands at the top, we all know. It used to be 15% in 2016, 17, 18, which has now come down to 11% to 12%. Because of PAN India fund has increased, the companies have started looking PAN India programs. Then when you look at the second, which is very transformative for us, Odisha has now become the second state to get CSR fund in the entire pie. Third one is still Delhi NCR, which is again some surprise for us, because it used to be the Karnataka or Gujarat or Rajasthan earlier. It has now moved to Delhi NCR region. Then you have, when you look at this, Mumbai, obviously because of Maharashtra and corporate headquarters, the largest number of CSR projects. Second one is Pune, and the third one is Delhi, and then you have Chennai and Bangalore. These are the 5 largest cities which are getting, as per the number of projects, support from the corporate funding. When you look at the thematic distribution of CSR pie, this is again something which will shift and which will interchangeably go to poverty, livelihood, health and education. So the trend which we have witnessed is that if healthcare is going up, education will go down. This is, I don't know how it's correlated, how we can think about it, but whenever we have seen education funding going up, healthcare will come down. Whenever healthcare and poverty alleviation goes up, education will come down. But both of them will command almost 60-65% of CSR pie in India. Poverty, health, poverty alleviation, healthcare, skills and education. These four are the ones which are technically commanding almost 60 to 65% of the CSR pie. One trend which we have seen positively is that environment-related projects are data, which it will be close to 8.5% to 9% in the environment sector, which is a positive sign because companies have started looking at green belt development, supporting natural forest projects, supporting water conservation projects, and a couple of other renewable energy projects. One thing which we have noticed about CSR implementation, the implementation model is still evolving. I say 47% of CSR projects are being implemented by non-profit partners. Close to 20% are through CSR Foundation, 21 or 23%, or 21% are through direct implementation. What we have witnessed is that after COVID, companies have started directly implementing a couple of projects which might be like direct funding for some kind of procurement, some kind of other requirement. One thing again which is very crucial for us to understand, whenever we have seen CSR Foundation operated project, average funding size is close to 3 crore for CSR Foundation run projects, while if your project is funded through a non-profit partner, the average funding size will be 1.25 crore to 1.5 crore. These are the couple of trends for us to just visualize and understand how the sector is moving, how things are evolving, and when we are designing CSR projects and programs, what all we can keep in mind.
IIT Hospital, Anuti Bed Hospital, Aurangabad, and has 4 colleges and 4 schools under his aegis. He is also the director at National Research Lab.
Today, on occasion of India's largest CSR summit in Delhi, to begin with, I congratulate Mr. Bhautik Shah. He has organized all the NGOs, possible NGOs who are working in CSR activity, corporate officers, similarly businessmen and concerned persons, even in public sector units officers. On this occasion, my senior colleague from Rajya Sabha, Mr. Kalita ji, he is also Rajya Sabha member, Major General Amit Lumba ji, Sanjeev Singh ji, Veena Reddy ji, Pankaj Rastogi ji, and all delegates from all over the country. एक कहावत है, मूर्ति लहान कीर्ति महान। वैसा मैं देख रहा था, पूरा हॉल में पूरे डेलीगेट्स हैं, दिखने में छोटे दिख रहे हैं लेकिन बहुत बड़ा काम कर रहे हैं। और हर एक तो खुद का बिजनेस चलाता है, हर एक तो खुद का इंडस्ट्री चलाता है, बट ही इज एंगेज all the time with the social activity, social commitments, and he is working for the social cause. तो इस अवसर में इतना ही बताना चाहता हूँ, हमारे राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी जी का सपना एक ट्रस्टीशिप डेवलप करना। छोटे मोटे गार्डियंस तो होते हैं, लेकिन राष्ट्र के लिए काम करना जरूरी है। और हम सब लोग मिलके इस समाज के लिए CSR के माध्यम से काम कर रहे हैं, ये बहुत ही बड़ी बात है। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का सपना है अंत्योदय से सर्वोदय। इस देश में का गरीब आदमी सुखी कैसा हो, उनको मदद कैसी मिलना चाहिए, और इस माध्यम से सब समाज अच्छा हो। CSR एक ऐसी एक्टिविटी है जो भारत देश ने एक लॉ बनाकर 2013 में पूरी दुनिया में पहली बार लॉ बनाया, तो भारत देश ने बनाया। और इसी के माध्यम से नेशनल रिलीफ फंड हो, रूरल डेवलपमेंट हो, स्लम डेवलपमेंट हो, क्लीन गंगा फंड हो, हेरिटेज आर्ट, एंड देयर आर नंबर ऑफ फंड्स दैट आई विल नॉट रीड द लिस्ट, यू नो बेटर देन मी। लेकिन अलग अलग क्षेत्र में जहाँ सामाजिक काम की जरूरत है वहाँ ये CSR के माध्यम से काम होता है। एक नेशनल एजेंडा पुअर सोसाइटी को मदद करना, और एक पुअर सोसाइटी को मदद करना तो बिजनेसमैन हो, कॉर्पोरेट हो, उनके माध्यम से जो CSR जो 2% मिलता है वो 2% अगर समाज को पास पहुंचाना है तो बहुत सारे NGO के माध्यम से काम करते हैं। तो मुझे पता है इस हॉल में बहुत सारे NGO भी है। अभी ये 2% क्या है उसका डिटेल में मैं जाना, आपको तो पता है, जिनका नेटवर्क 500 करोड़ है, जिसका टर्नओवर मोर देन 1000 करोड़ है और प्रॉफिट इज मोर देन 5 करोड़ है, तो वो CSR में जो डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फिट होते हैं उसके माध्यम से काम करते हैं। तो बिजनेसमैन तो खुद का बिजनेस करते हैं और करते समय सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के लिए जो NGO के माध्यम से जो समाज को मदद करते हैं वो बहुत ही अच्छी बात है। और सिर्फ मदद ही नहीं होती तो उसमें से जॉब क्रिएशन यानी एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ जाती है। उसके साथ जहाँ जहाँ जरूरत है वहाँ NGO के माध्यम से NGO becomes voice of the society and they approach to the corporate or industrialist, and इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट को भी जरूरत होता है कि अच्छे लोगों के पास जाना जो अपना 2% CSR के माध्यम से जो राशि होती है वो गरीब लोगों तक या गरीब सोसाइटी तक पहुंचना, तो ये NGO के माध्यम से काम होता है। और NGO इस सेक्टर में बहुत सारे NGO भी अच्छी काम कर रही है। मैं इस अवसर पर इतना ही बताना चाहता हूँ, प्रधानमंत्री जी फर्स्ट टर्म में शपथ लेने के बाद इंडिया का ओवरऑल PMO ऑफिस ने सर्वे किया और सर्वे के बाद 112 डिस्ट्रिक्ट जो है उसको एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट बोल के नामांकित थे। और ये 112 डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऐसे हैं जो रूरल एरिया जहां आप लोगों की CSR के माध्यम से एक्टिविटी होना बहुत ही जरूरी है, चाहे एजुकेशन फील्ड हो, चाहे रूरल डेवलपमेंट हो, चाहे हेल्थ हो। और इसी के ऊपर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के माध्यम से भी ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कॉन्सेंट्रेट करके जो 112 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स है वो 112 में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मदद कैसा मिले, इसलिए हम लोग भी काम कर रहे हैं और आपके माध्यम से भी काम होना चाहिए। मैं डिप्टी फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर एंड स्टेट फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर हूँ, तो मेरे साथ एक DP एक डिपार्टमेंट है, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ पब्लिक एंटरप्राइजेस, और पूरे पब्लिक सेक्टर यूनिट्स कम्स अंडर DP। और उसमें हमने एक रूल बनाया, जो कुछ CSR है 60% CSR must be utilized in the aspirational districts, that is the backward area. One example I want to give you. 2 दिन पहले मैं मिजोरम के मामिंग डिस्ट्रिक्ट में गया। नेचुरली मैं एक डॉक्टर हूँ, मेडिकल डॉक्टर। जाने के बाद वहाँ का हॉस्पिटल देखा, हॉस्पिटल देखने के बाद पूछा क्या सब फैसिलिटी देखा, तो मैं जब रिपोर्ट देख रहा था तो मुझे पता चला कि यहाँ का 43% आर डिलीवरी आर टेकिंग प्लेस इन द हॉस्पिटल एंड 57% आर होम डिलीवरी येट एट दिस टाइम। तो नेचुरली मैं पूछा यहाँ का मेटरनल मॉर्टेलिटी ज़्यादा है। अभी मैं देख रहा था यहाँ आने के पहले, तो मिजोरम का मेटरनल रेट इज 130, जो हमारा नेशनल ग्रिड से बहुत ज़्यादा। तो मैं पूछा वहाँ ऐसा क्यों, तो वहाँ 39 सब सेंटर्स थे। तो 39 सब सेंटर में जो लेबर के लिए, जो डिलीवरी के लिए जो फैसिलिटीज़ नहीं थी, वो जितने चाहिए थे उतनी नहीं थी, इसलिए थोड़ा और ट्रांसपोर्ट का भी प्रॉब्लम था, इसलिए होम डिलीवरी होते हैं। तो मैं आपको इस अवसर पर इतना ही रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूँ कि ऐसे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स आप लोगों के माध्यम से जहाँ फैसिलिटीज नहीं है वहाँ काम होना जरूरी है। मैं अभी देख रहा था और एक किताब भी पढ़ रहा था जो अभी रिलीज किया, तो मैं मास्टर से हूँ, तो सबसे ज़्यादा मास्टर तो मुझे लगता है अच्छा स्टेट है, प्रगतिशील स्टेट, और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा CSR मास्टर में यूज हुआ। तो मास्टर में यूज करो, मैं तो चाहता हूँ, लेकिन जो एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स है, जो जहाँ फैसिलिटी की ज़रूरत है वहाँ काम करना जरूरी है, चाहे एजुकेशन फील्ड हो, रूरल डेवलपमेंट हो, यानी रोड्स, वाटर रिसोर्सेज, ये सब क्षेत्र ऐसे हैं कि वहाँ काम करने की ज़रूरत है। पर्टिकुलरली हमारा एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर, जिसके माध्यम से हमारा GDP बहुत ही एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर से आता है, तो एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में भी काम करना जरूरी है। मैं मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट बनने के पहले CSR के माध्यम से किसानों के लिए बहुत सारा काम किया था, वो मुझे याद आ रही है। पर्टिकुलरली जहाँ आई एम कमिंग फ्रॉम द लिटिल बिट बैकवर्ड एरिया इन महाराष्ट्र, मराठवाड़ा, और फार्मर्स के लिए हम हर साल फ्री सीड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन REC के माध्यम से करते थे। और जब DPR हम जब बना के REC को सबमिट किया, तो उस टाइम हम स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन अप टू द यील्ड उसका एक रिपोर्ट बना के उस कंपनी को देते थे, और बार बार उनके अधिकारियों को लाके बताते थे ये आपके CSR के माध्यम से इतना इनको मदद हो रही है, जॉब क्रिएट हो गए, लोगों को मदद हो रही है, इनका इनकम भी बढ़ गया। तो इस अवसर पर मैं इतना ही बताना चाहता हूँ, जो कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिसेस होंगे, बिजनेस सेक्टर होगा, NGOs होंगे, जो कुछ काम हो रहा है वो अच्छा ही होना ही चाहिए, और उनको कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर को भी कॉन्फिडेंस में लेने की जरूरत है। तो उनको भी ये सब देख के अच्छा हो सकता है, अच्छा लग सकता है। ये जो एक्टिविटी हो रही है बहुत ही अच्छी एक्टिविटी है, और इसी के ऊपर अलग अलग स्पेशलिस्ट आके यहाँ डिस्कशन हो जाएगा। जो डिफिकल्टीज है पर्टिकुलरली बैकवर्ड एरिया में, इसी के ऊपर भी डिस्कशन होके इसी में से अच्छे से अच्छा आउटपुट निकाल के ये एक्टिविटी, CSR एक्टिविटी, पर्टिकुलरली इन रूरल इंडिया, एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स एंड इवन बॉर्डर्स, दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट। बॉर्डर्स में भी करना बहुत ही जरूरी है। मुझे याद है मैं फाइनेंस सेक्टर में, बैंक एंड इंश्योरेंस, आई एम लुकिंग आफ्टर दिस सेक्टर, और स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया से माध्यम से इसी साल 10 एम्बुलेंस बॉर्डर के लिए NGO काम करती थी, उसको दिया। तो some sectors we have to identify where actually it is required, and we have to work on that priority. And I am sure that such conferences, such workshops, such discussion will definitely help to improve our work, help to motivate the corporate offices, businessmen to give the more CSR, and ultimately our end is to improve our society, improve our economy. I am very happy to be share with you that our economy has increased, and we are having the fifth largest economy in the world. कोविड-19 के बाद या कोविड के टाइम हम हमारे माध्यम से यानी बिजनेस सेक्टर हो, कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर हो और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया जो मदद लोगों को मिली है, जो हमारे पास इनोवेशन हुआ है, तो और इसके बाद भी जो हमारी रिकवरी हो रही है इकोनॉमी की, तो आज दुनिया में नंबर 1 की रिकवरी है और उसी टाइम में काम भी अच्छा हुआ है। पर्टिकुलरली 200 करोड़ से भी ज़्यादा लोगों को वैक्सीन दिया है। जो वेंटिलेटर्स हमारे पास बनते नहीं थे वो वेंटिलेटर्स आज बन रहे हैं, हमें सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। ऐसे बहुत सारी चीज़ है, मुझे पता है ये टाइम ये बताने की नहीं है, लेकिन इस सब CSR के माध्यम से NGO और बिजनेस सेक्टर हो, कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर के माध्यम से, इन्वेस्टर्स के माध्यम से हमारी सोसाइटी का इनकम कैसा बढ़े, वेलफेयर कैसा बढ़े, स्किलिंग कैसा बढ़े, एजुकेशन कैसा बढ़े, हेल्थ इंप्रूव कैसा अच्छा हो, ये सब काम करने के लिए आप इकट्ठा होके जो डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, तो मैं सभी का अभिनंदन करते हुए ये जो एक्टिविटी है इसलिए मेरे तरफ से शुभकामना देते हुए मैं मेरे वाले को विराम देता हूँ। धन्यवाद। चक्रवर्ती कहाँ है? बीच पार्ट
It will be such a huge gathering, and the number of people who are going to be there, the enthusiasm, the energy which is going to be there. So again, congratulations to all of you. I wish I had been on the corporate side. I wish it's been only last 1 year that I graduated from being into the business, generating profits. To be given to the CSR, to be given to the foundation, to being actively involved into working out what are the projects, what do we do with these profits, what are the projects that we take up, how do we impact communities, how do we design projects which have the largest benefit for them, and believe me that is something which has changed my perspective completely. About this, from CSR being a compliance, item on our calendar as a corporate. This is something where, personally, as you see for last 6 months, my 25 to 30% of the time has been spent on the foundation, work of foundation, the CSR activities that we do. And, this has been an eye-opening experience. I think the ecosystem that we are operating in, the difference in the lives of people that we are making, that's something which has grown close to my heart. It has given me personally it has given me a lot of satisfaction. And when you see yourself, I've been into the fields, I've been going into the fields, and so personally when you see the beneficiary, how you touch their lives, the improvement that happens, impact that you make. So it's a satisfaction which is, which never came from generating those profits from the business and giving 2%. So this is something which has been, extremely wonderful. As I said that I'm not a CSR professional, so I will not be able to tell you anything about CSR other than what I have experienced personally, the feelings that I've had. So, the CSR in India has, all of you are aware, I don't need to tell you that it has post the regulatory, framework which came in. It has evolved from being pure philanthropy to, well-coordinated activities involving various stakeholders, impacting a lot of lives. So, directionally, what we see from here is that, this gathering which is there, probably this gathering doubling, tripling over a period of maybe the next summit will have double the number of people. To use their money in the most efficient way and improve everyone's life.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, my dignitaries, eminent members on the dais, eminent members in front of me. It gives me great pleasure to be here to speak to such an important audience. Important audience because you are the connect between government and communities, between government, civil society organizations and communities. And I don't think I can overstate the importance of the work and the efforts of CSR, and therefore I'm really pleased to be here today, and also I'm really pleased to actually physically see all the faces and to be able to connect in person. I'm going to shift focus a little bit, and I'm going to talk about water, and I will come to communities and CSR and the importance of everybody being a part of the water management exercise. As the Prime Minister always tells us that water needs to be everybody's business, particularly if we want to do our business well. So, water. Now, what is the biggest challenge that confronts us in terms of water management today? It's climate change. And climate change that we see affects the water cycle most obviously. We're already seeing this. Prediction tells us that the total amount of water that we receive is not likely to reduce at least in the next 50 years. What is changing is where we receive it and when we receive it. So we are seeing longer dry spells, we are seeing extreme precipitation events, and therefore this is a major challenge to the water and the economic security of the country. Also, what we see is that, and I think all of us here recognize, that this affects the poorest and the most vulnerable first and disproportionately. Also, the other thing is that it also is, how does it affect water security? We've already seen, you have seen urban flooding happening in cities. That affects how cities do business. Assessment units, districts, blocks that are overexploited in terms of groundwater, you can't set up water extracting industries there. Immediately, that becomes an inhibitor of growth for those areas. So water management and improved water management is key. It underpins health, it underpins poverty, alleviation activities across the board. Water is cross-cutting. What are we going to do about it? There are two major strategies. One, increase storage. And the second, improve water use efficiency. How can you increase storage? So storage is surface water storage, which is in dams, reservoirs, in the rivers. There is also another kind of storage which is less recognized. It's under our feet. Groundwater. Groundwater is the largest reservoir that we have. But sustaining our groundwater is again a major challenge. We are working on improving surface storage. So there is one strategy that we have is, completing incomplete projects. Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana is picking up projects that have been languishing for a long time, injecting capital, injecting technical expertise, and trying to complete projects to increase storage. The second is some new strategic projects are also coming up, but environmental concerns, rehabilitation, and also sites are making large dams increasingly less viable. So we need to focus very strongly on managing our groundwater sustainability. It's homegrown Indian technology in water management, and people here are uniquely placed to work with us on this. The third area is capacities, particularly at the district level. So we need water. of good work, amplification of innovations, so that other people can follow and take forward what is happening in certain areas. So that this sector that is crying out for need and support will receive more attention, and we will be able to create a water secure India together. Thank you. Thank you so much.
A very pleasant afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. But I'd like to believe that it should be like the dessert, last though, but still look forward to. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's our belief that today I stand amongst you feeling privileged indeed for a formidable reservoir of intellect that you all are. We do believe that you all, the men of metal and women of substance present here, along with the government machinery, are actually driving the industry engines, are steering the manufacturing hubs of our country with utmost energy and a heartfelt compassion. Our young lady here mentioned, I'm Major General Amit Lumba, Additional Director General, Ceremonials and Welfare, and I work alongside the Adjutant General of the Indian Army, who's a Principal Staff Officer to the Army Chief. With me is my teammate, Colonel Paramveer, who is the Director of Welfare Sections 3 and 4, which deal with CSR and our internal welfare projects of the Army, and Colonel Akhilesh Chandra, who's actually gearing up to take up the same role. I mentioned about a heartfelt compassion, ladies and gentlemen. It's our conviction that a senior military leader, a corporate stalwart, or an industry captain, for them, compassion may not be a prize in itself, but perhaps the lack of it can become a punishment for a few. From our growing up years, we've always seen corporates step forward and take up social causes, and we've deeply appreciated that. Deeply appreciated your contribution much before this term, corporate social responsibility, was coined in 2013. You've been there much longer. Let me come to the Indian Army. Ladies and gentlemen, we are guided by one single thought, and that thought is nation first. So therefore, when it comes to our nation, for us, there is no task too difficult. There is no objective too far. There is no sacrifice too big to ensure victory under my feet. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's no wonder that we lose 1,200 to about 1,300 of our brothers in arms every year. About 10% of them, 120 to 130 perhaps, they make the supreme sacrifice for the nation in the line of duty in active combat military operations. The balance, unfortunately, we lose them in battle accidents, in training and filing related accidents, in our mobilization and movement related exercises. But we remain steadfast in ensuring the welfare of all our men, with the concept of whom to whom while they are in service, after they complete their terms of engagement, and then their families when they are no more walking this world. At the Army headquarters, we strategize the vision for welfare. We try and provide a strategic direction to our welfare projects executed by our field formations which have a pan-India presence. It's our effort to provide tailwinds and greenlight their efforts on ground. So where is it that the corporates come in? What is it that we are doing? May I just summarize in a few lines? Ladies and gentlemen, we run 37 ASHA schools for differently abled children across the country, which has a strength of 1,285 differently abled children as we speak today. 585 out of them are children from the civil fraternity, so therefore it's open to the civil fraternity. We have 7 palliative care centers for terminally ill patients, our brothers and their dependents. We have 2 paraplegic rehab centers in the country, an artificial limb center, a spinal injury center. We have 113 military hospitals right in the remotest areas of the country. We draw strength from every geographical corner of the country and every economic and other social strata. So Indian Army remains the most binding force and most crucial instrument with our government. We also have 136 Army public schools, 250 Army pre-primary schools, and we're trying to align them with the National Economic Education Policy 2020 to gear them up and empower them to mainstream. We recently started an initiative of early intervention centers, and we started 5 of them this year. What do? They look at a child and through the contemporary medical equipment, look at a child from his birth to about 6 years and identify their inadequacies. If there is an ailment which is hidden and he or she is not able to communicate, can that be detected? Can we intervene early so that the treatment is neither denied nor prolonged? So therefore, this in a nutshell is the welfare initiative that we all have to take. Where do you step in? Corporates step in, ladies and gentlemen, to give longevity, durability, and sustenance to our projects. We don't want to start a project and finish it and end it after 2 years. We want it to be sustained. So you all come in for that stout financial handholding. It allows us to continue with those welfare projects. So in turn, what do? What is the end result? You all, ladies and gentlemen, are allowing some of these people from the armed forces to dream more, to learn more, to do more, to become more. You are empowering them to translate their dreams into realities. So that is where you step in. Presently in this appointment and with my team, I interact with the largest of the banks of the country, the largest of the corporate houses, and we share our thoughts with them. So wherever your ethos, your ethics, your CSR initiatives, they resonate with what we are doing in the Army. Ladies and gentlemen, do feel free to contact us and we volunteer to be the catalyst for any of those thoughts that you may have for the larger benefit of our society and organization. So we'll be there to help you in our logistic projects, or if you want to start a new project or fund a new project, we will become the enablers for that.
It is related to Armed Forces Battle Casualties Fund. This fund is utilized to get previously injured and therefore cannot fend for themselves. final tomorrow afternoon with a curated presentation to give you a glimpse of all that I said and all that we're doing in a little more detail. Until then, we wish you the very best. I won't be fair if I don't thank Mr. Mohammed Shah, CSR, and all of you, their partners, who come up and who are partnering the society for betterment of everyone. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and gentlemen.
Let's invite all the winners of the Impact Awards to kindly come on the stage for the group photo. All the winners, volunteers, if there are winners outside, kindly ask them to proceed to us. Applause for all the winners on stage.
One cheering photo also, something like this. So that
with the support of NSDC, we are doing some really good work. Done with Anisa.
Nice to hear what all good work Ram is doing. It's really nice.
You come, please. Yes, certainly, certainly. We have somebody taking.
All pictures.
और दूसरा है काफी लोग 10 मिनट यस नहीं सर आपका आशीर्वाद